as far as foundational capabilities go, understanding the outcomes you're driving for, but far more important than that is understanding and moving towards a clean data set before AI can be truly effective. The data with which you're working, it can be dirty, it can be convoluted, it is not simplified, it's not structured. And if you're overlaying AI use cases on top of that, you're destined to come out with a bit of a skewed outcome that is not going to deliver the value you're looking for.
One of the foundational pieces is really understanding what problem you're trying to solve. And what do you want to use AI for? And having that clear vision will help you get to the finish line, or at least get out of the gate in the right direction.
Whether you leave this generative AI as the tool on the side of desk versus you actually embed that tool into the workflow. So that makes a huge difference. You start with people, because a lot of people, if you do not embed that tool into workforce management, they choose not to use for very different reasons. But we know that a lot of it comes from the fear of their future job.
We first had a very clear business strategy and objectives, and then we try to line up the best opportunities to achieve that. And in one case, we had that find champions and build up some literacy around using these tools, as well as a proper cross-functional team. But also we had to iterate. We didn't succeed the first time. We had to do it multiple times in order to get better. But it really ties back to what I've heard a few times. What is the strategy? What are we trying to achieve? And do we know if we're moving in the right place? It's progress over perfection.
So we put in a lot of guardrails around the ChatGPT, our own, and we expose that to the whole community. And again, same way, they're learning from it. They come up with some great ideas, and then we're working with them to figure out how we can enhance that. The business needs to tell us. From an IT perspective, we can guess all we want, but we don't live there day to day.
I think every company should have an innovation lab, be able to fund it. I think the key is to fund it and run it in a rapid decision-making manner so you can understand the value early of what you're doing. If it's not panning out, discard, move on.
Upskilling and investing in educating employees, not just IT teams, but really making a plan together with the business on how to educate the business has been fundamental to progress.
We thought the business would have good use cases, but they did come to us with 86 use cases, which we obviously couldn't solve. And we asked them to distill that down to 3. When they did that, we changed our role to become more an enabler. But now that we've opened it up to be able to use a tool and put in a proper governance process of why they need the tool and what the real business case is. And I also put in reporting for return on investment on those fancy ideas that came up at 2 a.m. in the morning. We've started to see things become more real. And most importantly, we changed our role. I think someone had said, we are technologists. We can guess all we want and rethink. But at the end of the day, the business needs to drive that return on investment.
But our focus was really around 3 areas. One was revenue growth, which is back to the products, right? And the other is cost optimization, which is people, which is that we have to be careful and go slow. And the other is being a strategic differentiator. Like, what can we do to be strategically different? And that's the fast fail.
We're seeing some success in the agentic space. So building agents, to your question around workflows and how do you actually empower investment teams. So we're seeing some multi-agentic tools that are actually starting to help in that space.
As you move up the curve from using co-pilots and assistants and things like that, which is, often what people start with when they're talking about AI and the tooling and all of that, and you move into this agentic space, it changes the way you run programs. When you are trying to transform an entire process, you need different people to come in and do that potentially. And so this becomes a very different endeavor, investment level, all of the things around it. And what we found is we did not get any speed of adoption when we tried to say to the team, oh, just see if you can put some agents in there. It did not work. So we had to come at it very differently to get any value out of that. And we started seeing exponential value.
We're asking them to start doing development from scratch using AI versus, when they're stuck, they just go to AI and ask a question. So my software director, he started using it because he's responsible for all. And I love his feedback. He came back to me after a month and he said, Amar, I don't think I can go back to coding.
I've got some folks that are not software engineers but have good business acumen, and they're able to innovate and show a prototype. That would have been very challenging before, and that actually helps speeds it up too.
So we deploy Google Gen AI and Vertex AI can really scan and recognize those documents and extract the data automatically into our our workflow system. That really reduce our operation costs a lot and optimize our business process.